Okay, so this is going to be a quick video on a rapid load development that I did. This is actually the second day of velocity testing. I'm shooting Vihtavuori in 165, which I have no experience with. The first day's loads were 55.5 grains up to 59 grains in half grain increments. I usually do smaller increments than that, but I just wanted to get out there and get some rounds down and just get an idea of what the speeds are going to be. Like I said, those are in half grain increments. The 59 grain charge put me at 2,900 feet per second. Talking to Brian Blake, he said 180s and even 184 should be shooting mid to upper 29s. So I went out a second day and loaded 59 up to 61 grains. So 59, 59 and a half, 60, 60 and a half, and 61 grains. The 61 grain charge weight put me around 2960, 2955, 2960. The 60 and a half and 61 both had decent ESs. So I ended up loading 60.4 grains because the weather's supposed to warm up a little bit for that match. And I believe, again, I don't have really any experience with N165, but I've heard that it likes to speed up as the weather warms up. So I went just a little bit lighter than what the two groups I tested. I went 60.4 grains. This wasn't near as in depth as I usually get, but it's just something to get me out shooting. After this, I didn't do any seating depth test or anything. I just went out a couple days later and did a tuner test. So that's what we'll look at next.
All right, we're heading out to the 1,000-yard range. Gonna do a little tuner test today. This barrel has a little over 200 rounds on it. I went out a couple days last week to do a velocity test, shooting Vihtavuori N165, which I have absolutely no experience with. I know it's a slower powder, but I really had no idea where to start off. I ended up, the first day I went out, I was well below the charge weight I wanted to get up in the area of the speed I was looking for. Ended up going back and doing a second test. Ended up settling on I think 60.4 grains of N165, and that's running a Berger 184 probably around 2930 if I remember right. So I'll get everything set up once I get out there and do a tuner test. See how it does.
Okay, here I finally got everything set up. I'm going to get the target out to the 900 yard, just because the field is too muddy. Once I started shooting, first setting was at 0 on the tuner, and now I moved the tuner in 5 hash mark increments up to 55. I would have kept going, but I found a decent spot in the 35 to 45 range. The 35, 40, and 45 all shot pretty well.
Alright, so this is tuner setting 35. That's good.
At Kroger, we want our fresh produce to meet your expectations, which is why we're dedicated to doing up to a 27-point inspection on our fruits and veggies, checking for things like scarring. In fact, only the best produce like zesty oranges and carrots reach our shelves. Because when it comes to fresh, our higher standards.
All right, that's 3 shots.
Kroger, fresh for everyone.
0.45 high, 0.87 wide. So if we get another setting that's smallish, that might be where we end up going. That's a pretty good.
Hey, oh, what's this?
Breakfast from Mickey D's.
For me?
Yeah.
Pretty good group.
Because it's morning.
Obviously, we'll revisit that.
Let's eat while the pack.
There's a deal for every act of kindness at McDonald's. Mix and match 2 for $3.
That's a good start.
Once I was done shooting all my groups, I went back and reshot 35, 40, and 45. They all repeated. Maybe not quite as small as that initial test, but they were all well under 3 inches. Setting 40, which you'll see here, opened up a little bit from 35. On the repeat shoot was 1.5 inches. And again, this is all at 900 yards, so we're talking about pretty good groups.
That's definitely a game changer. Visit USAA.com/SafePilot to start saving. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. United Services Automobile Association Safe Pilot is optional. Active USAA auto policy. Only select states. Smartphone and download the Safe Pilot app required. Early driving discount offered at renewal based on all rated drivers on policy. Discount may vary by state or life of policy. United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
It's trade-in madness, only at Jake Sweeney Mitsubishi, and we need your trade. Trade in immediately at Jake Sweeney Mitsubishi.
That one opened up just a little bit, still not bad.
Savings with pre-pandemic deals, exceptional trade-in values, and no
2.6 inch group at 900 yards.
release. Jake Sweeney Mitsubishi wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than your car, truck, or SUV is worth. Huge selection of new SUVs with no market.
And again, there's not a great load. I haven't done a lot of load development. I just did a couple quick velocity tests. I've just done a couple quick velocity tests. I'm just trying to get a load. I'm going to shoot next week out at Camp Atterbury, 1,000 yards. So I'm just wanting to get something that's respectable.
We're here for business owners thinking about their next move, and for students looking to build an emergency savings. What I'm here for, Bank of America is right here. One-on-one guidance. It's at our financial centers or 24/7 at our mobile bank.
Something that I don't show up and make a fool out of myself with, at least from a gun standpoint.
Zero Sugar has a new, better flavor. A Zero Sugar Cola has never tasted this good. It's delicious, it's refreshing, and it's so good you'll need to try it for yourself. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Zero never tasted so good. That's what I like.
Not a good.
For country music, B105.
That's 3 more, 0.67 high. So it looks like I'm in a little nice little sweet spot here for the tuner.
Once I got done with the tuner test, I settled on setting number 40 because it was right in the middle of the 3 that were shooting pretty decent. It was a little bit taller than the other 2, but it still wasn't terrible. So that's what I went with, shooting 60.4 grains of N165 on, for me, tuner setting number 40. So I'm going to take it to Camp Atterbury and see how it does. Talk to you soon.